We insulted him, we abused him, and people were already getting the knives out for Southgate to take and hold his L. But this is the beauty about football, is you just never know, and it continues to surprise. I thought England would hold his L. When I saw that lineup, I thought that they'll hold his L. But for Southgate, both of the players that he picked that people had questions about in Phillips and Sterling said, what's up? And for Raheem, the Dream Sterling, who people have called him a break, trash, has had a tough season. What a way to answer the critics, and what a way to pop things off and start things off for the Euros. And despite the game not being the greatest, England were 100% deserving winners, man. Let's get it. You see, you've got to come at this through both ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum is we need to give our apologies to Southgate because we're ready to completely get in on him. As in, why did he play Trippier in that position? Phillips over Henderson. Why is there no Grealish? Why would he still start Sterling? And so forth. So you can look at it at that angle and say, we now need to apologize for him because he got it right. But even if you look at the whole Trippier thing, Croatia were non-existent. Let's keep it a stack. Croatia were non-existent. And you see, I said that, look, no Mandzukic, that's a big loss. Okay, let's now see what they do. And even I said, I'm not convinced with Rebic as a striker, but maybe he's going to be a false stand and they will revolve around. So I didn't really know how they were going to play. But you obviously saw that without the aerial presence of Mandzukic and an out-and-out striker, and now you're putting Rebic, a winger, in at the striker position, is going to be problematic. So for England, they found it very easy to cope with what was thrown at them. I think for Walker, he had easy pickings with Perisic and Kramaric. Bro, Trippier, that had to be one of the easiest games for Trippier, you know? Because it's like Kramaric did literally nothing to disturb him. First 10, 15 minutes, like England looked really good. They were putting Croatia under pressure. They were getting in very good pockets. And even earlier on, I was like, Sterling's looking good. You see, because that's the thing about football, which is why I say, you should pick two reasons why we should pick guys when you come into the international tournaments. For two reasons. Meritocracy, that's the obvious reason. How well have you played for your club? How in form are you? Let's bring you in. Another reason is, what character do you have? What is your personality? And do you have the kind of personality, the kind of strong character to be like, I mean, I've had a bad season. I've got something to prove. Let me go through. Because this was a big call from Southgate, because many guys were like, nah, Southgate shouldn't be starting. And I was first. I'll admit it. I held my head up and said that meritocracy. See, I don't know what's happening in the camp, so I didn't know the kind of conversations that he had with Sterling, or how Sterling said, no, I'm ready. I believe I'm ready, and I want to prove myself to people who don't think I should be in this team, because he's had a pretty bad season for Man City. He really wasn't good in that CL final. And you would argue that whether it's a Sancho, a Grealish, or so forth, have had better seasons, are in better form, and should play ahead of him. So, but when you just saw, because the funny thing is, there's so much focus has been on Harry Kane. But you would argue that, it's funny, the two guys who came up with the goal were probably the two best players for England, i.e. Phillips and Sterling. Because from the very early on, Sterling is the guy that he makes, when Sterling is good, he's dangerous, which is why I said that. Even if you go back to the last World Cup, Kane is a goal scorer, so he's always a goal threat. But if I'm a defender, I am more worried about Sterling than I am of Kane. If I'm a defender, I am really thinking more of how I'm going to do with Sterling than with Kane, because speed, movement, that's the key thing. The movements, and because Sterling is coming in deep, he's coming in here, then everything, boom. And it was his movement that almost got him in from that ball that Mount played, and it was his movement that came in towards the goal. So when just and even again, you look at the Foden chance. That Foden chance came from Sterling. Well, great throwing. Sterling getting the ball, driving forward of the ball, pops it off to Foden, and that was a great opportunity by Foden. Because look, because it's hit the inside of the bar. So if he had just gotten his angles just a bit right, Foden could have said what's up. So those first 10 minutes are like, okay, man, yeah, these guys, they could take us Croatia. But then they had the momentum, they didn't score. And they didn't take advantage of the momentum that they had. Now you're now coming with Croatia. And for Croatia, you can say, okay, these guys are good. Technically, they're good. What surprised me is they didn't control the game as much as I think they would have. And I think that's a big mistake that I think Dalic made was Modric was far too deep. Obviously they were trying to make him play like a Pirlo quarterback position. But when you look at Modric for Real Madrid, this guy is scoring goals and this guy is driving forward from midfield. So I would assume that no, Brozovic is the anchor in midfield and Modric is much more attacking, and you're getting him in that final third, because Croatia, once they got to that final third, it was Nightmare on Elm Street. No quality, no belief, no ingenuity, no imagination. It was extremely dry. There was no seasoning whatsoever. There was no sauce, no silk. So as I was viewing, I know Croatia, this guy's ain't scoring. I cannot see where the goal from Croatia is coming, and they are badly missing Mandzukic because Rebic, Kramaric, these guys are offering zero. And I think that for Mings and Stones, they did a great job. They did a great job, and I think Rice as well was also a very good ball for stopping them. But like, you come into the second half and the game just sort of, it was going away, Like, I don't know whether it was to do with the heat, but things quietened down, things slowed down, and you say, okay, it's now, this may be getting away from England, so somebody needs to turn up their screw. So you look at that goal, and my thing about it is that, you see, what was surprising for me, and maybe something that Southgate needs to work on, is Kane was like literally, I don't know. I didn't even know what Kane did. Kane did hardly anything in this game. Like Sterling was the guy that was the most active and everything, alongside Foden, Mount, and so forth. But really, Sterling was the guy that was making things happen, and I was liking what Phillips was doing, because Phillips was making some good tackles, good passes, and he was really doing some good midfield play. And he's benefited from your boy Bielsa. Bielsa's really, really been able to take his game to that next level. But look at that goal. A lot of that goal came from Phillips. Because, in football, when it's tight, you just have to read situations. And so much about football is decision making. When do I pass? When do I run forward with the ball? Can you see that there's a little bit of a gap in midfield? Because Phillips, he saw the gap and was like, okay, rather than just maybe pass the ball through, no, let me drive forward, go forward. Sterling makes the pass. It was a good, nice pass from Sterling, because the key thing was the run from Sterling, pass from Phillips, and then boom, Raheem sent it through. And now see, with that is the biggest confidence booster for Sterling. It's the biggest confidence booster. And I think for that, it makes it very difficult for Sancho or even Grealish to now get into the team now, because you see, okay, I mean, I'll get to a few critiques, but look, man, that's a huge goal for Sterling, because there were guys that said, he shouldn't be playing. And I do believe that for Sterling, I'm sure he absorbs social media. He absorbs what guys are saying. And I think that he had a point to prove. Because trust me, I'll say, I know some of you guys were like, oh, I never said it. I'll come out and say it. And I know many of you said it all the way through that. So now Sterling shouldn't be played. This guy's trash. This guy's crap. So there were guys that were trying to get him out the paint. So the fact that he answered his critics like that, because it's not only the goal, it's not only it was the winning goal, but his performance, what he was doing, and the fact that Kane was a complete non-entity and Kane did not really offer anything in this game, and Sterling was the guy that was really the busiest, really making things happen, really pulling guys apart, coming in deep, running forward to the ball, and just even as well, like just his general touch, ball control, ability on the ball was good. It was good. He was doing some nice little tricks, and his footwork looks a lot cleaner. So I was like, oh no. I think that Sterling has absorbed what has happened to him for Man City in the Premier League. He's taken in all of the criticisms. It's been a very, very difficult season. a lot of people, specifically from the CL final, were highly and heavily critical of his inclusion and his performance in that CL final. So this shows me that the kids got character, because many people with all the kind of abuse and so forth, they will cower. But the fact that he stood up, he stood tall, and you can see that maybe I don't know what's happening with Man City. Like his body language for Man City, even in that CL finals, like he's not really ready. He looked ready, just physically, mentally, spiritually. He looks ready for this. And I think if a sharp Sterling is a dangerous weapon for England, because if you have a guy who is quick, is speedy, is direct, can get into those small spaces and can really peel off a defender into that space, which is what he did for the goal, that is a very dangerous weapon to have for England. And I think England's strength is the attacking options that they have. Look at the goal that Foden almost scored, and just look at that, like the kind of balls that Mount is sort of playing in. So that was good, man. For Croatia, man, look, Modric, I still believe Modric was the best player on the pitch, just based off of footballing ability. But Croatia, these guys, they offered nothing, and my fear coming into this was always that, Croatia, I think these guys have passed their peak. Like 2018 was their peak. It was their heights and so forth. And I think that team reached the zenith in 2018. As of right now, you just see remnants of what was back then. But like, my thing was, if Croatia, if you're crossing, who are you crossing to? Who are you crossing to? You're not crossing to anybody, because they don't have anybody of the height of Mandzukic. And it was extremely easy for Mings and Stones to easily swat that stuff away. So for Croatia, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing, because, and that's so for England are in a position right now where if this is the best team you face in this group, it's 9 points. England have to look at, we're going to get 9 points. Now, look, England's performance as a whole, it wasn't great. The first 10 minutes was very strong. They pressed well, they won the ball well, they moved the ball around well, they were very active, very positive, found nice, good spaces. But then afterwards, they sort of lost their way. And I do still feel that Southgate, take this win. It's a good job. There is a place for Sancho in this team. There is a place for Grealish in this team. There is still a place for them in this team. I just think Sterling has put his name down. I mean, he's put a marker down. Because if, let's say, Sterling played and he bricked it up or so forth, then that's an opening for Sancho or Grealish. But I think for right now, based off his goal and his performance, Sterling has locked things down. See, for Foden was high. But for me, I would still say, you know what? Coming to the games, okay, let's see what I would start Grealish or Sancho the next game. So, okay, Foden, you were good, you were high. Let me just try something different here. Sterling and then Kane, let's stick with that. But now, guys, if you want to be real, I understand that Kane is a high goal scorer and you should always have that there. If, let's put it this way, if England are playing like a France or a Portugal, let's say a team that presses high, or let's say a Belgium, I wouldn't start Kane. I would go small. So Sterling, Foden, Sancho, whatever, I would go small and quick. So there's lots of movement, because Kane is pretty much ineffective if, let's say, he can't run in behind the guys and he can't run into space. Like, see, that's a goal that England scored. Kane can't score that goal because he doesn't have the movements and the ability to head into the space that your boy Sterling does, So, because look, Kane didn't play well. But the issue with that is that a guy that that is such a high volume goal scorer, you've always got to have him there. But look, man, you see, it's about getting the win. Like the performance right now is something you can maybe think of later on. And I think what England will want to, all right, this was our toughest game. And for a toughest game, it's not about the performance, it's about just beating your toughest team. Now, against Czech Republic and Scotland, it's like, all right, let's get our swagger. Because I think this England team, I'm still missing a personality, a character. And they're still lacking that character there. See, I can't This team isn't what I saw from Belgium or Italy. Like we're yet to see France, Portugal, Germany, and even Spain. Because right now, Belgium are right now, they've put a market down and said, no, we are those dudes. Because that is the best thing that I've seen so far in this competition. So England are still a few levels away from just the quality that Belgium has shown or even Italy have shown. But a win is a win, you know? And this was this is the kind of game where, and I think this is another key thing. It's the kind of game where England draw 1-1. So many years previously, they'll go up 1-0, they get really hype, and then there'll be a mistake. Defensive mistake, goalkeeping mistake, lapse in concentration, and then they give it to a 1-1. So it shows the character of the team, the personality of the team, the concentration of the team. Who cares whether Croatia were offensively inept? Always staying switched on. So because the thing about it is that an England team would just make a mistake, get so overconfident, and just sort of just go brainless. So the fact that they maintained their concentration all the way throughout and saw the game through, I think that is something that Southgate will be happy about. So look, man, for Southgate, man, it's a dub. Because people were saying, why is Phillips playing ahead of Henderson? And Phillips played very well. He played really well, moved the ball around well, got onto the ball, and had a good presence in the game. We don't know about Southgate. So sorry, we already know about Sterling. Why is Sterling in here? So for Southgate, it's the hugest dub because the two guys who were question marks to start, and he bravely put forth were the two guys that led to the winning goal. So you have to give him the dub. You have to just say, all right, you did that, you know. You see, for Croatia, man, I mean, look, let's see what, because for me, I need to see what Scotland and Czech Republic do. But this Croatia team, they're not very impressive. They're very impressive. And I think for Modric is still there. And Modric he will always still give you those moments. And they're just little moments that Modric gives you where it's like, yeah, man, yeah, Modric he's that dude. I'm just reminding you of the kind of footballer that is and the kind of player that he is. But I just think that the pieces around him, specifically just attacking wise, there's something that they have to do to rectify their offense because you can't be that useless offensively, which is what the way. Let's keep it real. You can't be that useless offensively because offensively, attacking wise, there was nothing. They offered absolutely zero offensively, and you have to bring something more to the table, you know. So look, man, England can play better, and England should look to play better, and I think England should look to really get. Because look, I said again, the performance wasn't great. I'll keep it real with you. From a objective footballing point of view, it wasn't the greatest performance. It wasn't the greatest match to watch. And the thing is that you don't need to perform well. But I think England can perform better because you just need to be effective. That's all you need to do is to be effective. But I still think that despite the win, there is a place for Sancho in this team. There's a place for Grealish in this team. I think Southgate has to really look to see how can I include them. Because maybe it was tactical, you know, but throughout the game, he didn't even use Grealish. Sancho wasn't even in the squad. But look, you cannot abuse Southgate. You can't abuse him. Like right now, you look bad and stupid abusing Southgate because he managed to say what's up, you know. Your boy Southgate managed to say what's up, man. So look, man, let me take some queries and some questions from you guys up in this live chat piece, man. Let's see. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, man? England better than France and Portugal. Where do you get that from, bro? Like that's I don't know. Like where do you get that from? I don't understand where we get that from, man. Grealish, Sancho to play the next games. I want to see what England will do. Yeah, no, look, for me, I think I want to just see other guys come into this team. and see what they can do, because you want to just experiment. You want to just experiment, Where was Kane? He didn't have his greatest game, man. Kane did not have his greatest game. Obviously, they didn't need him to. And I think what is key is that Kane is touted as like, this is England's talisman and player. So here's my thing here. What this showed me is Kane is not England's most important player. England's most important player is Sterling. That is England's most important player. Like, if Sterling can play well and be effective, that is where England can truly be dangerous. So, see, if Kane doesn't play well, fine. If Sterling doesn't play well, it can be problematic for England. But if Sterling can play well, that, I think, is a real answer for England doing something in this competition, man. So, but it's only one game, man. It's only one game. Mount played well in the first half, but went missing in the second half. Yeah, like Mount, he was pretty good in the first half. He was pretty good. Like, he played a really good ball up to Sterling. Second half, England as a whole, the whole game as a whole it subsided. Like, I think second half, both teams, I think they lost their way, and I think even Mount as well. Mount wasn't the only guy, but just think as a whole, nobody really popped off. You just had that moment that came through Phillips and your boy Sterling, man. Shows me a show watch, man. Modric was the most elegant player on the ball. You see, that's my thing, is that, look, I could already have told you this before the game. Modric was going to be the best player on that pitch. And you just see that every time Modric played the ball, every time he had the ball, you said, no, this guy is just a cut above everyone else. But just having one ball on your team is not enough for you to win the game. The other Croatians, specifically the guys in attack, just didn't raise their game, man. That's the issue. They just did not raise their game. What's it called? Do you agree so far this tournament? Belgium, Italy, England. Yeah. Like, for me, Belgium have played the best football. That's like the way that Belgium played is like boom. Hence, it's a performance thing. Like, Belgium, the way that they performed, I was like, no, these guys, they performed. They just looked really good. They just looked really, really good. They just looked like a really good, strong, cohesive team. Then, of course, Italy, a very difficult game against a very defensive Turkey. Italy looked good. And you probably say England, yeah. Yeah, I think England, for the first 10, 15 minutes, they looked really good. Those first 15 minutes. Afterwards, it's a bit tricky. Like, I mean, the performance was good for the first 15, 20. For the rest, it was a bit dodgy, man. All right, what was I saying, man? Memphis masterclass, but who's the coach, man? What are we doing, man? Glad we won, but why is it that when Foden fades out of a game, people turn a blind eye and give him a pass? Grealish and Sancho should be starting. You see, hence why I feel that Foden started well, and just like Mount, he faded away. I think that you need to bring Sancho into this team, but I think that, you see, it's like there's so much hype around Foden, hype, that Southgate almost feels maybe pressurized to have Foden starting in the team. But I think really, if I was advising Southgate, I think it's either Czech or Scotland in the next game, roll with Sancho, Or for me, I think Saka can. Saka, I think. I just don't think he's going to feature, but I think Saka can be a very interesting option. Like, England have some very interesting attacking options. That's some very interesting attacking options, man. And just because Sterling played well doesn't mean that he was a good choice in the game. Grealish could have done more. You're smoking crack, bro. You can't open your mouth and tell me after that game England should have played Grealish, because you take Sterling out of that game, England don't score that goal. And you take Sterling out of that game, who was the most dangerous player for England, What do we see? Bro, your comment makes no sense. I'm sorry, your comment makes no freaking sense. Because if you take him out of the game, it was Sterling's movement that led to that goal. Grealish doesn't make that run. Kane doesn't make that run. So how can you view that game and see how many problems Sterling caused Croatia, how well Sterling played on his goal, and say it wasn't? Of course, it was the right idea based on his performance, man. Come on, bro. Like that's just madness, man. You see, that's just straight up hate, man. Casey, man, thank you for the dub. Casey, thank you for the dub. Casey, thank you for that dub. So Casey says Croatia ran the midfield but have no attack. Mount was awful after 10 minutes. His best attributes are his press, very little creativity. You see, now we're not getting to the real talk. See, if we're being real right now, I would say I would drop Mount and Foden and bring in Grealish instead of Mount and Sancho instead of Foden. Sterling, he's played too well. He has to play. Kane, he's your goal scorer and your captain, and he always has a goal in him. Over the 90 minutes, does Mount deserve to play the next game? Over the 90 minutes, does Foden deserve to play the next game? Over the 90 minutes, Phillips had a very good game. Sterling, we see, over 90 minutes, Sterling and Phillips were the best players for England. They were the best players for England. Rice was pretty good as well. I think Rice had a solid game. Rice had a good, nice, solid game. But yeah, like I think because it is a great opportunity because Czech and Scotland are teams that England should beat. And what Southgate wants is okay. Because what he wants to see that what team can give me quality over 90 minutes? Over 90 minutes, what is the best 11 that can give me the most effective quality over 90 minutes? Because now you may say, maybe Sterling works better with Sancho. Maybe Kane works better with Grealish. Because Grealish and Sancho offer something completely different. Like Sancho could really offer something different that maybe thingy that Foden doesn't give you, because Sancho is a bit more direct. Also, Sancho is creative as well. And Sancho really knows how to create and give a pass. Grealish, we know that he's a more creative flair player as opposed to Mount. See, Mount may be more like effective, always looking to go forward. Mount doesn't have the footballing ability or the flair that, let's say, a Grealish has. So you always want to have as many options as possible, man. Will Sterling redeem himself if he scores 3 to 5 during this Euros and help England reach the semis? Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, he's already slightly redeemed himself because look, it's the winning goal. He played well. Basically, he basically got man of the match. Let's keep it right. He basically got man of the match and he scored the winning goal. So already, it's already a bit of like, wow. And remember, England are a team that normally starts very slow. The team that normally start very slow. So in order to do that, you could have give him that. So yeah, he would to an extent. Southgate has 5 subs, and England have basically qualified, but he won't change things up much. You see, the benefits or the advantage of not changing things is you want to go into the knockout stage with a very clear idea of how you play. So I don't think he changes it because it's like, okay, we won. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But what I would say that yes, you won, you could have performed better. And I think the guys that really helped you win were Phillips and Sterling. So I would just say to you that don't just assume that this is your best 11 because they won the game. I think that you are yet to find the best group that gives you the best chance of winning this whole thing. So I'll just say that. And he probably won't, but Grealish, Sancho, see what they can do. But I doubt he will. I don't think he will change. From Ellis Galaxon says, easy, the Jad will land. He just had some business. Yeah, some business signing for a club who can't beat Villarreal, man. Messed up, man. No, but what do we have some business? He was on the he was on the bench there. He was on the bench. From Yes Sideman, thank you for the double. Yes Sideman. I told you. I picked England to win because I knew this wasn't the same Croatia team, and I believe Grealish wouldn't play a single minute of the Euros. Now, that is funny because that is something that I think could happen. I think you could have a situation where, and that would be one of the weird things where Grealish just hardly plays. Because as I'm just looking at the team and the options and the substitutions that Southgate could potentially make, I'm like, where does he put Grealish? So I still say it's a great opportunity for him to include Grealish in the next game. And for me, I would say, look, man, why not? I thought just have something different, a different tact in there, man. But yeah, Croatia were super disappointed, man. Super disappointed. You know. All right. After one good game, did I say Sterling is the GOAT? It's like, maybe you've not been listening to what I'm saying. Have I said Sterling is the GOAT? I said that he played well. And he did play well. And he scored the winning goal. So the narrative isn't Sterling is the greatest player in the world. He's tier one and he's chief of God. The narrative is people were calling for him not to start. He had a very bad season. You'd argue based on the meritocracy, he shouldn't start. So it was surprising that he started. And he answered his critics. He answered his critics by a very good performance and the winning goal. You know, very simple. And the winning goal, man. So let's keep it real, man. England will get hammered in the next round if they face Germany or Portugal. I think hammered is a strong word. I think basically for me, this is similar to Italy. I don't know how I can rate Italy because we've not seen the defense get tested. I don't know how I can rate England because Croatia didn't have an attack. So we are yet to see how good this England defense can be against dribblers, ballers, and an actual attack. So that's why like we can't read too much into this win because yes, it was a good win. It was a very disappointing Croatia. It was a Croatia that had zero ideas. Nice and pretty in midfield. Very nice, good, intricate, neat play. But these guys didn't have anything in them, man. You know. Sterling is a top three winger though, but wait, where is the overhyping coming from? So are you saying that Sterling wasn't one of the best players on the pitch based on performance? Are you saying that I shouldn't give him credit for scoring the winning goal? Like, I'm sorry, I have to call it as I say it. He scored the winning goal. He should be given credit. I don't know why that is so wrong. From what I said, imagine if England topped the group and France finishes third. I strongly doubt it. I strongly doubt it, man. I strongly doubt. Like France, I at worst, France are finishing second. At worst, you know. Now look. Anything can but at worst. I dare to go to United's Twitter. Oh Lord. Wait, why would they announce this? Oh my god. What's this? Oh, I thought you guys would have announced this whole thing, man. Why? What's on the Twitter? Oopsie daisy. Yeah, but look, guys, Sterling isn't like a top 3, 4, 5 player in the world, man. He isn't, man. He isn't. So, like, no, like as I say, Sterling is not. He's not a guy who I'll call the top best guy in the world, man. But he did his thing, man. He did his thing. England would tear apart Belgium's old defense. This is potentially true, but you're forgetting what Belgium's attack can do to England's defense. First thing, 100%, England's attack would cause Belgium a lot of issues. And I think that would be a very exciting game to watch. But Croatia don't have Lukaku, Carrasco, Mertens, Hazard, De Bruyne. So let's keep it real. Belgium's attack is one of the best attacks in this tournament. Okay, let's just keep that. Let's just keep this. Like Belgium's attacking units and what they can do. Boom, like England don't have a player as with the kind of ability that Carrasco has. And for me, I think Lukaku is a more lethal striker right now than Harry Kane. You know, and Kane, bro, you didn't really show up in this game. Like Kane did not have his greatest game. And it's not like if Croatia were fully defensive. It's not like if, okay, Croatia were fully defensive, not giving him space. No, like put Lukaku in this game, I think he would do more than Kane. So let's pump the brakes though. Let's just pump the brakes. North Macedonia, what up, man? It's true. Guys, will be here for me by another 10 minutes, and then I've got to give a shout out to my North Macedonia peeps, man. Don't you think that Southgate needs to switch up the fullbacks? Trippier left back, isn't it? I mean, I don't know why he had him in there. I think he just had him in there because he wanted to he wanted him at free kicks and so forth. But it's something I would not advise going forward, especially when you now come into the latter stages, because I think there was an opportunity where England had like a break. I think Mount gave the ball to Trippier, and you just expect boom, first time into the box, but he stopped, put it onto his right foot, and then put a cut. But was like, oh no, that's not how you should be rolling, bro. That's not how you should be rolling. Let's just see. Let's see what else can I say, man. If England face a big team, they're out. Well, look, let's see. Because my thing is that this England attack is dangerous because of the speed they have in the attack and the amount of options they have. So this England attack will cause a lot of teams issues. But my question is, what can this England defense do against a France attack, Portugal attack, Germany attack, and so forth attack? So it'll be interesting. Can you see this good? KDB is the only real threat. The dude that laid a brick in the CL final, him. Brick touched Lukaku, bottled it against big team. That's why United sold him. Remind me again, who won the Serie this season? I believe it was Inter Milan. And Lukaku had double figures in goals and assists. Remind me, when was the last time that United won a trophy? Tell me. Just a simple question. When was the last time that United won a trophy? I think Lukaku has won a trophy more recently than Manchester United. Remind me, tell me. From LSK Laxon, Football Hot member, unfortunately. What did I say in the Hangouts? This game depended on how that Croatian midfield would function. Guys, I forget that this is 2021 Croatia, not 2018. No, look, Mandzukic is a huge loss. The team is much older, and they're simply not the same. I thought that they could do enough for a draw. They were never going to win. But I thought, okay, maybe that they could do enough for a draw. But I was shocked by just the lack of threat they had offensively. Like attacking wise, these guys are just nada, man. Absolute nada, man. So today is Austria, North Macedonia in like the top of the hour, and Netherlands against Ukraine. So let's see what your boy Frankie de Boer is gonna do. So yeah, man, yeah. Of course, Brazil, Venezuela tonight. Yeah, like I told you, because it's on BBC. Copa America's on BBC. Of course, I'll be there, man. All right, guys. Look, man, your boy. Let me give a shout out to my Austria thing. But look, guys, England, man, they got the win. Sterling, you did your thing. And I think people who are hating on Raheem Sterling, I think you need to give him a little bit of an apology. Just a little. Not too much. Just a little weeny bit of an apology because the hate was real. The hate was real, man. The hate was real. So you need to say what's up, man. Who wins the Euros in your opinion, man? For me, like, see, let me see everyone after the group stage. I'll have a better idea. I'll have a better idea. I think saying it now, it's too difficult, man. Saying it now is too difficult because let's see what France look like. Let's see what France look like. Let's see what Portugal look like. Because told you that France-Germany game is going to say a lot. France-Germany game is going to say a lot, man. So, but yeah, look, man. I mean, but see, for England, greater Tesla ahead. I see England should clean house, and that's why I said for England, I don't want to hear any nonsense about how let's finish second. No, England, if you are serious about winning this competition, your main aim should be to win 7 games. You should want all the smoke with any team that comes your way. So if you finish top and you're going to face either Portugal or Germany, you've got to believe that you can beat either Portugal or Germany. And I think this England team could be able of beating the Portugal or Germany, man. So, guys, look, man, let me go to Austria, North Macedonia. So, guys, look, man, we'll be back in here. Remember, just follow me on Twitch and follow me on Twitter, and I will keep you up to date as to when I'll go on Twitch next with a watch along. I think probably our next Twitch watch along is probably going to be the Germany-France game, because that game is going to pop right off. Or I may do Spain-Sweden. I might do Spain-Sweden. I think Spain, because I want to see what Spain look like. So it might be the Monday night Spain-Sweden game, man. So we just have to wait and see. So guys, peace out. Stay true, stay real, stay lovely, stay sexy. And your big man boy is out. One love.